Well, hello everybody. It's been a while, hasn't it? 2 weeks, in fact. I am not going to apologize for how long it took because honestly, I needed a little bit of a break. Uh, there we are. Uh, but anyway, I did need a little bit of a break. Life is exhausting at the best of times, and well, streaming every week on date, like close to the time when I wake up, is tiring enough. After all, well, you can stream all you want, but I don't have the constitution or the mental stability to do a stream every single week. As soon as I wake up every single time. We all need breaks sometimes, after all. Oh, and boy howdy, am I glad I took mine. Either way, it is time for us to return to Egypt. After all, it is not only the Greeks that have betrayed us. Well, not only the Norse that have betrayed us, but it's the Egyptians as well. And it's time for some ancient relics to be mine once and for all. Let's get to it, why don't we?
Have we heard back from the troops we sent to help the Greeks?
Yes, my queen. They have arrived and are defending Sikios. They say the Atlantean army is outside the city, but they are not attacking.
Queen Amonra,
Arkantos!
I have come to warn you. You are about to be attacked by the Atlanteans.
Our troops have already met them in Greece.
Not in Greece, here. With your army away defending the Greeks, the Atlanteans have decided to attack you where you are now, undefended, at home.
We must prepare.
The Atlanteans want to teach you a lesson for standing against them. They will attempt to take the 4 relics you keep in these lands as a sign of their dominance. Stop them.
We don't have much time. The Atlanteans will be here soon.
Yes.
The 4 ancient relics in these lands grant great blessings upon these people. We must capture them all.
We are restrained to the
Yes.
heroic age, and have no god powers until we capture the relics in these lands.
Yes, we must. Either way, it's best we get onto working on this as quickly as possible. But there's also something else we have to do.
We want to protect this ancient temple of Kronos by putting some walls around it.
We have to set up a defensive, if complex, as soon as we possibly can. Because, well, I'm sure everyone knows how this game is designed. And at this point, ain't where it absolutely favors a tower defense and setup. Up to the point where doing anything else is a little bit foolish. Let's see. After all, it's so easy to get overwhelmed if you're not careful. Let's see. We'll make this. And narrow it down.
Jost, Mos Intem, Herr Jost, West.
There we are. That's taken care of. But yes, it's 100% up to us to make sure things are defensively viable. Because once we get overwhelmed, there's honestly no way for us to come back. Reasonably, at least.
We should be prepared for naval attacks and landings.
This ancient temple of Kronos cannot be time-shifted as ordinary buildings can.
Alright, we'll have to restart. No biggie, no biggie.
The 4 ancient relics in these lands grant great blessings upon these people. We
are
must...
restrained to the heroic age and have no god powers until we capture the relics in these lands.
Mm-hmm. Of course, of course. Let's see. We'll upgrade the automatons. They're more valuable myth unit than most. Those given their tenacity. He will say. Alright, we'll scout out this area. Anyway, let's get to it.
We may want to protect this ancient temple of Kronos by putting some walls around it.
Of course, of course. That's my dear soldier. That would be ideal, wouldn't it? Ugh. And then we also have to automatically reduce villagers. As for our own protections, of course.
This ancient temple of Kronos cannot be time-shifted as ordinary buildings can.
Alright.
Dilis Moke. Burek. Dilis Moke. Fras. Skopos. Dilis
Should be prepared for naval attacks and landings.
Well, let's see. Now
The 4 ancient relics in these lands grant great blessings upon these people. We must capture them all.
We are restrained to the heroic age and have no god powers until we capture the relics in these lands.
let's see. Upgrade these guys to heroes first, then. If they're insistent upon it, might as well. I'll take it upon ourselves to fight here. Ugh.
We may want to protect this ancient temple of Kronos by putting some walls around it.
Let's see. You'll go over there, explore.
Skopos.
Let's see. There we are. Get some hero Mamelo out. Let's see. If they're gonna be insistent about attacking us here. We're gonna need to get things up and running quickly.
This ancient temple of Kronos cannot be time-shifted as ordinary buildings can.
We'll set up a couple manners here as well. Then we'll respond to whoever attacks us first. Alright.
We should be prepared for naval attacks and landings.
And there we are. Take out the mana. there we are. That should do that. That's satisfactory in a satisfactory enough way. Let's see. You'll be here providing wood. Let's see. There we are. Go past Schultzman. Eh? That's unusual. Well, that's supposed to be strictly a DLC thing. No, come on. There we are. There we are, there we are. Either way, we do have to thank them for pointing out the weakness in our design real quick. If nothing else. And we're already overwhelmed.
The four ancient relics in these lands grant great blessings upon these people. We must capture them all.
We are restrained to the heroic age and have no god powers until we capture the relics in these lands.
Let's see. Oh yeah, and I think at this point it's a little self-evident that the claim that they can't defend themselves is a fucking lie. Ugh. Hmm.
Herr Joes, Mos Intem, Osto, Mos Intem.
Let's see. So instead of building walls, we'll just straight up go for the palace and towers.
Osto, Ma, Yuji. Yuji, Ma.
We may want to protect this ancient temple of Kronos by putting some walls around it. This ancient temple of Kronos cannot be time-shifted as ordinary buildings can.
There we are. But yeah, we'll just focus on building up that.
Bureg.
And so Stone insists on attacking. We'll give them a defensive structure that they have to chew through. In response.
We should be prepared for naval attacks and landings.
Skopos. Yuji.
There we are, there we are.
Bureg.
Hmm. Oh. There we are. There we are, there we are.
Skopos. Yuji.
I wish I did have caster for this. It'd make life so much easier.
Yuji.
Yuji.
Burek. Burek. Mak. Eşlos. Yuji. Eşlos. Mak.
Hmm. We'll be fine this time.
In these lands grant great blessings upon these people. We must capture them all.
We are restrained to the heroic age and have no god powers until we capture the relics in these lands.
Yuji. Eşlos.
Righto, righto.
Herjos. Oso.
You're heard.
Yuji.
Heard and listened to.
Yuji. Mak.
And we'll move you, but we'll take you over. Oh, hey, Axel. It's been a while. I've been doing well. Oh, a 1 week break turned into a 2 week break. Mainly because I realized how exhausted I was of streaming for a while there. Or so ultimately, it's been a good time.
Eşlos.
But I've also now remembered how frustrating this campaign mission can be on Titan. Difficulty.
Yuji. Herjos. Eşlos. Mos intim. Yuji. Oso. Diab.
Ugh.
We may want to
And
protect this
and how
ancient
frustrating, you might ask?
by
Very frustrating.
Mak. Oso. Mak. Eşlos. Mak.
Ugh.
Burek.
To the point where it's like
Herjos.
hitting your head against a brick wall repeatedly
Eşlos.
and calling it a good experience. Mm,
Skopos.
Not much you can do about that, but hey. Hey. Hey, the streamer getting frustrated is something people like to see, isn't that right? Ugh.
Burek. Eşlos. Burek.
And there we are. Ugh.
Skopos.
But yes, ultimately this campaign level, among all others, can be very frustrating. Because you can forget there's parts like this. It's an overall make mistakes that you might otherwise not.
We should be prepared for naval attacks and landings.
This ancient temple of Kronos cannot be time shifted as ordinary buildings can.
Burek. Mak. Herjos. Yuji. Eşlos.
There we are.
Skopos.
Let's see. Righto, righto. Rebuild that. That and just keep on going. Hmm. Very frustrating indeed. And we'll bring you out over here. Oh, looks like we're going to have to build a palace on this side of things then. Oh yeah. The current objective is to steal these 4 relics while they're constantly insulting us with, quite frankly, significant waves of myth units. Which is why heroic Arcus are honestly the best choice for this mission. With a combination of supplemental guard towers, of course. After all, it is ultimately a game of trying to your best to make sure we do not get overwhelmed. Those guard, which is why guard towers are such a quintessential little item here. Ugh. I mean, guard towers are always quintessential. It's just their importance is a lot higher in the Atlantis campaign than any other campaign before it. Ugh. They seemed really damned and determined to attack the temple. Need to wait for some boiling oil. Use the villager as bait. Actually, no. Oh, we want boiling oil.
Capjos. Also.
You will repair our palace.
Capjos. Most intim. Scopus. Scopus. Yuji.
We'll send a compliment of Arcus over there. But yes. They really want you to grab the relics and grab them well. Hmm. Let's see.
Also.
Anyway, back to base building.
Yuji.
I think what we currently lack is economic upgrades, and that's what's kind of screwing us over.
Yuji. Scopus. Yuji.
So we'll get ourselves an economic guild, and then we'll focus on
Burek. Schwest.
Yuji.
this sort of stuff again. Yep,
Burek. Most intim.
Bure. Osto.
it is in fact the economic upgrades which we lack.
Yuji. Lost. Burek. Scopus. Most intim. Burek. Yuji.
And there we are. That's that.
Scopus. Burek. Capjos. Lost.
Hmm. There we are. Those economic upgrades are very pivotal. Well, it's just during the initial stress of the game, it's so easy to forget them.
Capjos. Yuji.
What a day, what a day. But yes, I'm glad to be back, Axel. If you have anything you want to ask me, you feel free.
Yuji.
After all, you do deserve to at least have a Q&A after this long hiatus.
Burek. Esh lost.
This, after all, it is been a heck of a time relaxing, trying to get my head on straight.
Capjos.
Because, well, as fun as streaming is, it's so easy to get overwhelmed sometimes. And as you have the idea of, I have to produce this much at this rate for these people. Ugh. This way. But yes. Honestly, despite this being my fourth attempt, I think we actually have it in the bag. Anyway. It's so easy to get overly stressed streaming sometimes because, well, you want to keep things up to a certain quality while producing as much content as you can, and when you fail to hold yourself to that standard, it can get frustrating.
Burek. Skopos. Burek. Julius Mokay.
There we are.
Burek. Yuji.
It is frustrating when you're the standard you hold yourselves to. You're unable to reach the standard you hold yourself to. Either through exhaustion, sheer exhaustion of yourself, or otherwise.
Skopos?
Skopos. Esch lost. Schwest.
Let's see. But yes, now that the initial rush is over,
Yuji. Schloss.
it's a lot easier to handle incoming enemies.
Esch lost. Yuji. Also.
There we are.
Yuji.
Look at them fall.
Petros. Also. Burek. Yuji. Skopos. Skopos. Schloss.
What may have once been an intimidating force is ripped to shreds. Always satisfying to see. But honestly, the initial hump of these... I haven't been on any good hikes lately because it's been a bit too... As much as I hate to say it, it's been way too hot around here. With it being in 100 degrees Fahrenheit, or what, close to 30, like maybe, was it 30 degrees Celsius? Is for any of my E4, any other people who use that measurement. Ultimately, it's just been too damn hot for anyone's health to really go out and hike. Oh, fun fact: these Kopesh swordsmen, these are not in the original Age of Mythology's Titan expansion. This is something added by the Chinese expansion. And honestly, it makes our life about easier in terms of defensiveness, because boy howdy, are they only good for one thing, and that one thing is killing villagers.
Skopos. Skopos. Schloss. Mag.
Which makes it easier to shred them.
Also.
Herr Joes?
Alright, it's time for you four to get into the farming life. The farming life, baby. Work the fields for us.
Osto. Yuji. Yuji. Eschlost.
And there we are.
Yuji. Yuji. Also. Petros. Yuji.
There we are. Kinda sad to see their efforts so meaningless. Yes, but ultimately it's not my fault, and nor do I care.
Petros. Mak. Also. Yuji. Also. Mak.
There we are. There we are. What are they thinking?
Also,
Play to the AI's tendency to Zerg. And bing a bang a boom. Ah.
Burek. Eschloss. Mos intem.
I'll bring you over here first. Actually, there's a town center over here. I'm gonna have you build it for me. A market, if you would. My fairest individual. There we are. Come on then. But yeah. With how stupid hot it's been, hiking has not been a priority of mine. Ugh. We'll send a llama over there just to be supplemental. Let's see. Upgrade gold mining. Even further. Put them on defensive stance. So they don't go rushing out the kill zone. Known as it were. Let's see. Thank goodness for the heroic renewal. Let's see. With that town center up and established, things gonna be a fair bit easier on us. Let's see. Start producing Mamillo at a greater rate. And destroyers as well.
Herr Joes. Yuji.
Let's see. Mm-mm. But yes, food is a secondary objective. It is incredible how well a few destroyer heroic unit. Oh, the Atlantean DLC, the classic DLC. My favorite levels to play through is the one after this, the one we're going to get to after this scenario. Oh, so not going to spoil that, but the campaign's levels I've played through so far, I'd have to say going around Greece and, well, claiming a few plenty vaults is wonderful, wonderful experience. It is so fun. I'm basically raiding those plenty vaults. Like, but yes, destroying those plenty vaults, claiming those plenty vaults in scenario 3 is a really good time, honestly. Honestly, I would recommend it. The Atlantean DLC is a solid DLC. The Titan campaign, Titan difficulty campaign will kick your ass if you're not able to adapt quickly. But it's a good campaign. But yeah. If there's one thing I want you to take away from me if you do play this campaign, I do not recommend Titan unless you're willing to get your ass handed to you a couple times before figuring out how to properly defend base. Because Titan will hand your ass to you repeatedly. I was not joking when I initially made the statement of, oh, it's like the Atlantis, the final level of the Atlantis Reborn, the original. It's like the final level of the original campaign. Except with that, you knew what you were getting into. It was the final level. And now it's at like, alright, let's perform at that level for the rest of the campaign. Hey, rest of the campaigns. Eh? They expect a lot from you. And fair enough, considering this is the DLC campaign, and you are technically a civilization that more or less died. We'll take this. My relic now. Let's see. My relic.
We've gained the god power bronze.
Woo!
We have captured the first relic, and a great blessing has been bestowed on us.
Indeed it has.
Bureg. Diat. Skopos. Lost.
Hmm.
Diat. Skopos. Mos intum.
Of course it gets stuck.
Skopos. Also.
And there we are. My village is safe.
Lost.
There we are. There we are. Interesting.
Osto.
There we are. You're gonna come back and you're gonna do some repairs for me. Good son. I think the interesting thing is they advise you to watch out for naval attacks when naval attacks really don't happen in this scenario. Oh, period. There's no landings, there's no naval army coming to swat you down. No, you're relatively left alone in terms of being on the coast. Oh, so I'm fine with that. Anyway. Really should upgrade their armor and attack, honestly. It's almost like that's a quintessential part in this fight. But yes, honestly, after the initial Zerg rush, a lot of your enemy's attacks do lose steam. Especially once you start tearing into their buildings. Their Zerg rush tactics are worthless after that. It goes to show, it doesn't matter if you're able to produce hundreds of units. If you just keep suiciding them into a situation where they are unable to be used effectively, then ultimately your army's just going to get squashed. That's why ranged siege weapons are quintessential 99% of the time. It's so you can break down these people who turtle like I am right now. Because once you're able to get that initial turtle up, it's hard for anyone really to break it down. We'll take care of this Amashu first. Make sure they're unable to come back as effectively. After all, it is annoying dealing with an army right on your doorstep at 99% of the time, so thankfully they don't really put in the effort to recover. Thankfully. But yes, let's just smash this and then take the town center for ourselves.
Scopus, Tilis Moke, e Poro Fras. Bure, e Poro Fras. Scopus, e Poro.
No point in leaving anything for them. If they are nothing but rubble. And town centers are valuable for us Atlanteans. It's how we train our units into heroes. Let's see.
E Poro Fras.
Ah, yes. A monitor is gonna be a problem. A virus.
Bure, Schloss, G. E Schloss.
And her city of a virus.
Yuji. E Schloss. Bure, Mak. E Schloss.
Let's see how many.
Yuji, Mak, Yuji.
Alright, now we have an army of heroes. Regenerating hero. Oh, so use as we will.
Yuji.
Anyway, we'll take out. Since that city is basically. This city has been left to rubble.
Yuji.
It's probably in our best interest to focus our attention onto Sakara.
Scopus. Yuji. Yuji, e Schloss. Bure, Yuji, Mak.
Uh, and get our whole army involved as well.
E Schloss. E Schloss.
Their attacks have grown weaker and weaker and less frequent, so
Okay.
naturally that means they are weak.
Yuji.
And they're so heavily reliant on myth units as well.
Bure, e Poro Fras. Scopus, Moke. Scopus, Yuji, Schloss. Tilis Moke.
We'll tear down the entirety of this wall.
Tilis Moke.
No need to have them. I'm up.
Bure, Yuji,
Only get in our way.
Tilis Moke. E Poro Fras. Yuji.
What happened to your armies? Is that so easily devastated mine not so long ago?
Schloss. E Poro Fras.
Scattered to the wind, turned to dust.
E Poro Fras.
Ah, but what a shame to fight an army of heroes in its place.
Scopus, Tilis Moke. Yuji. Bure.
They were such a pain in my ass.
Tilis Moke.
I said, now look at them. Reduced to nothing. As their mid-goal strongholds are rapidly destroyed.
Yuji. Scopus, Poro Fras. Bure.
There we are. There we are.
Bure, Schloss. Yuji. Tilis Moke. Bure. E Poro Fras. Scopus, Tilis Moke. E Poro Fras. Yuji. Bure. E Tilis Moke.
Now. Oh, nothing we can allow them to get away with.
Bure. Bure.
And soon enough, they'll just be left with rubble. As is only fair. Tried to turn us to rubble, so we'll turn them to rubble. So these, I suppose, was supposed to be a naval attack? You Leviathans? And there's a few buildings that were never going to be made anything of themselves? That's a shame. And luckily I'd never really found interest in fishing in the Nile. After all, why would I risk my safety on something that would clearly pay no dividends? There we are.
We found a relic. Now return to the Temple of Kronos with it.
Da. Let's see. But yes, with this place's destruction, it should become a lot easier. And the underlying threat of... Alright, no need to be so impatient. Relic of Earthquake, so... Oh, that's gonna be a fun one. And Avadis's valuable trade partner is no more as well. Well, soon to be at any rate. What use is trade if the market is gone?
We have gained Earthquake.
Leaves us with 2 relics that we need to gather. No chance for them to rebuild. Can't leave a single survivor. No way, no how.
Scopos? Herr Joes? Mock.
It is generally to the point where leaving people alive is a bad idea if we can help it. And something we should prevent. Should we find ourselves with the ability to prevent it? Anyway, we'll do the cool thing and permanently just cut off their ability to build a market over here. As well. This installation is ours now. There are many like it, but this one is mine. In all honesty, the bronze is the weakest of the powers we're going to get. So that would be the Relic of Tornado and the Relic of Ancestors. Anyway, let's get on with it. Now let's go after this undefended relic over here. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Well, undefended to a degree. But yeah, my dearest viewer, what is your favorite? What is your favorite animal? Well, that is the question today. My favorite animal is kind of a given. It'd be it's well, all dogs, and if we're talking wild animals, it's a good question, but wild animals, I'd say my current favorite would be that is a question. I make that question myself and I immediately forget my answer. As one ought to. My favorite animal would have to be
We have been granted the mighty god power tornado.
Well, dogs. Wolves are high up there. Kangaroos are interesting. Ultimately, I'd say my favorite animal would have to be like a leopard. Leopards are interesting. I mean, they're massive creatures, absolutely. The massive creatures at that. And there we are. Those Bithians are taken care of. Destroy this forward base. No point in leaving anything up to chance. With that forward base destroyed, bring a couple villages through here. We'll be made a hero. And we'll establish a line of palaces. And quite a few military buildings for, yeah. Owls are neat creatures. There's absolutely. Their silent flight is incredible. Let's see. Look at those powerful god powers absolutely opening up Avaris. Intimidating. And maybe. But not after they've been thoroughly opened up by the power of the gods. As we rip and tear into the meager defenses. It really doesn't matter if you establish his walls and walls of defenses. God powers exist to tear them down. Let's see. XR military is effectively doing what they're supposed to. Ripping apart the enemy base. It really goes to show the power of god power. Whereas this base was legitimately intimidating. It was ripped to shreds in seconds. It's time to return the last relic. Goes to show you could have the most well-fortified base in the world, and it means nothing if god powers are effectively used. Used in combination with aggressive strategy. And all for Roxvars.
We have claimed the fourth relic for Atlantis.
That statement even sounds sinister. We are 100% the bad guys in this situation.
What?
Arcantos. They captured the relics.
Yes. Take the few troops you have and go to Greece.
I cannot leave my people at a time like this, Arcantos.
Amanda, the Atlantean troops are being led by my son.
Castor? Why would Castor attack us?
He is being tricked. You must find him. He led a force like the one here against the Norse homelands and is sailing back to Greece now. Seek him there.
Alright. Now here we come to my favorite scenario of this campaign. A lot less stressful than the Zerg rush that we experienced in this scenario. Well, this is not my least favorite scenario. It's definitely higher up on the list of, oh boy howdy, are you gonna get Zerg rushed? Next scenario, Mount Olympus itself.
Good timing, Castor. The troops you sent to teach the Egyptians a lesson just returned. And the Greeks and Sikios? Your trick worked. The Norse and Egyptian troops started leaving the city 2 days ago. They must have gotten word of your attacks on their undefended homelands.
Good. We should have no problem with the city now.
One more thing, Castor. Our scouts found another of Lord Oranos' passages nearby. We think it might lead behind the Greek troops. I thought you might like to lead the force that attacks through it.
Indeed. Let's get started.
Where are we?
Well, even Krios knows how to be wrong. This passage has taken us to Mount Olympus.
Captain, we cannot return the way we came.
I can't believe we're on Mount Olympus. How could Krios make a mistake like this?
We must fight our way to the peak of Mount Olympus. There is no other option.
Indeed.
It is said that in Olympus the rules are different. A man's form can change as he walks. These temples will transform our soldiers into different mythical beasts.
There we are.
A hero has
More
fallen.
reinforcements have arrived.
Turn a man into a cyclops, and he shall rain havoc. There we are. How little power the Olympians shall have once we tear them to shreds. Ah. It is the Guardians of Olympus who we fight now. Let us wreak some havoc upon them then. Give our little Cyclopses some regeneration. Make sure they can take a few more hits. And they otherwise would be able to. Tear them to shreds as a mortal walks upon Mount Olympus. The defenders mean nothing to us as they fall right down, down, down. Our armies are worthless, their numbers are dwindling, their powers are empty, and their forces are waning. Got to destroy what resistance is offered here on Mount Olympus.
We have gained the curse god power.
Cersei will be pleased. Oh yes, it really does go to show. Oh, you can be as powerful as you want, but it's worthless if you are unable to temper yourself.
A hero has fallen.
There we are. Down it all goes. The Guardians of Olympus really are kind of pathetic. They can scale this. I mean, ultimately they do present a challenge in numbers, but the only army that ones of their number that are actually threatening are the
We have been granted 2 bolt god powers.
heroes, like Jason. And even Jason and the like can be taken out by a sheer force of numbers. No hero is invincible. No hero can last. Well, time to rain merry havoc.
I gave orders to send reinforcements before we departed Greece. It is imperative that we defend this Olympus passage so they can reach us.
Indeed it is.
I'll need different mixes of myth units for the obstacles ahead. Their strengths and weaknesses vary.
Well, let's turn these pigs into Valkyries.
Reinforcements.
That's a shame.
Reinforcements.
And yes, the pigs, the Curse God power is very useful for providing a number of reinforcements quickly. Yeah, in all honesty. Let's see, Manticore or Hydra? Well, we're honestly gonna have to go with Manticore. At least initially. Let's take a few of you, nah, don't we? Get some Manticores up and running. Let's see. What's our spotlight? Greek heroes, legendary warriors of ancient Greece. They used adventurers, soldiers, and sages with highly effective battling with units and occurrence, but make them a valuable addition to any army. Let's see. Just take me. Not dealing with that Cyclops. Well, not Cyclops, or that one.
A hero has fallen.
Let's see. Ultimately, it's very hard to lose this scenario. You have so much going in your favor. Considering you will receive constant reinforcements. And to replenish losses. And whatever foes you face can easily be overwhelmed one way or another. Righto. Let's get some more valuable hydras on our side.
If we destroy the buildings where these Greek soldiers are trained, it will slow them down.
There we are. It'll slow them down, certainly. Oh yeah, Cyclopses are always very effective at what they do.
Legends claim that no mortal may step upon Mount Olympus. We'll soon
No mortal may step upon Mount Olympus. We'll soon see. Indeed.
Πρόσεχε. Πρόσταγμα. Ετοίμος. Πρόσταγμα.
So we got 2 copies of the Argo. Lucky us. I'll make their efforts to fight against us relatively nominal.
We have been granted 2 Bolt God powers.
I also find it interesting that we actually have Valkyries, which are specifically a Norse idea more than a Greek one. Then perhaps I'm just looking into this a little bit too deeply. Anyway, this side is taken care of. Let's go have fun elsewhere. No point in allowing those Colossus a room to get away. Olympus Temple. And there we are. Down that Colossus will go, like the rest of them. Ah, the Traitor God power. Now that is specifically Atlantean God power. I'll bring the Momelo back and let the Hydras take care of this. What? Murmelo. Murmelo or Myrmidon? Look at those Hydras go. And they're only becoming more powerful as the fight goes on. The more heads a Hydra has, the deadlier it gets. With the max being 5 heads, of course. Well, so 5-headed Hydra is basically a Hydra doing 5 attacks at once. Let's see. But yes, Valkyries are basically the equivalent of a warrior monk from Age of Empires 4 if I had to make a modern equivalent to a relatively new new game. I'd call them warrior monks. Monks in terms of versatility. Just without the ability to collect relics. But yeah, the sheer power of a 5-headed Hydra is not to be underestimated at any point. Especially now that we have multiple, effectively. See, 5 heads. A 5-headed Hydra is powerful enough to be feared, really. Well, we're almost to the peak of Mount Olympus. In such a short time frame as well. Let's see. We must continue forging onwards.
These shades are instant death to myth units, but only to myth units.
Ah, it's been a while since we've seen shades from Hades. So nice to see them again. And it's nice to just tear through them as well. Hey, you three should be on. Now with that taken care of, we'll get some more Hydra and get some more Manticore on our side. Actually, I think a lot more Manticore would be more useful here. Let's see. Let's go onward. To victory.
We may want to wait for additional reinforcements before we attempt to assault the mountain's peak.
We'll take down these heroes. Sorry, Odysseus. I'm not sorry. Take care of Perseus. You can't be allowed to escape. Polyphemus. Alright, Casta. You step it in a pot.
A mortal stands upon the peak of Mount Olympus.
What is happening? Something is wrong. An Olympic passage! Quickly! It is our means of escape!
Isn't that ominous? And with that cliffhanger, I feel like I have to leave you there. Mount Olympus is a very, very, very fun scenario. Boy howdy, do you realize that you were a fool / the evil faction and for up until now. Oh, after that. Because, boy howdy, do your actions have terrible, terrible consequences for what you've done. But next time, we will see the consequences of our actions and see exactly why this DLC in particular, is called the Titans. Well, ultimately, that is still for another time. If there's anything you want to talk about right now, I'll stick around for another 10 minutes. It's just chatting. After all, it has been a good day so far, and honestly, we have done well to do what we have. I think this was also a good way for me to ease myself back into the habit of streaming, because 2 weeks off, those were a good 2 weeks. It helped me to reorient myself for streaming. But in addition, it helped me understand what in the world I'm doing. Well, in terms of what I am doing. Because college has started back up, work is stressful, I'm thinking of switching jobs. There is 101 things I need to do, and ADHD is... Oh, you absolutely do have to be the evil empire sometimes, but yeah. I, as a streamer, do have ADHD. I was diagnosed as a kid. Yeah, but ultimately, so if I'm a little scattered, that's why. Either way, it is fun to play the evil empire sometimes, 100%. And being in the evil empire, especially in Age of Mythology, is not, and especially in the age of games, is not something you really do a lot. You're never the outwardly evil individual. Well, and even if you are, it's mostly in a historical context. Which brings me up to the Dukes of the West DLC for Age of Empires 2. Is the first time you really do play as people who you fought against. You play as the Burgundians, the Britons. Edward Longshanks and the Burgundians. For Edward Longshanks, it's a lot more sense. You're correcting how the original learning campaign kind of portrayed the Scottish versus the British. It showed incorrectly that the Celts / Scots won, when in fact British won. they absolutely won. Those British longbows are good for one thing, and that's to make assaulting anywhere that's held by them a nightmare. Sure, it's hard for British armies to assault someone else in turn, but when you have longbows that outrange, when you have units that outrange castles 90% of the time, boy howdy, is it hard to really put up a fight against that. Especially since it's so easy just to plop a few champions out front and just move those longbows out. Longbows out far enough to crush trebuchets. Sorry. Just had to move. My camera was being funky. Anyway, but yeah. But let me talk about the Chinese DLC. The Chinese DLC for Age of Mythology is a sort of tragedy in its own right. It had such potential to be good, but apparently Age of Mythology is just a weirdly programmed game that makes things hard to work with, from what I understand. And apparently just trying to program a new civilization and then a campaign for that civilization just wasn't a good combination. Honestly, the voice acting, the volume mixing, everything in that Chinese campaign is almost so bad it's good, but not quite. It's just bad. Something which, and it's not the Chinese DLC is just 100% not worth your money. 90%. Unless you really want that new civilization, I'd say avoid that DLC. The new Chinese civilization is fun, don't get me wrong, but it's also stupidly powerful. Although, like, the way it's designed is just... It's designed in such a way to make that new civilization easily more powerful than other comparative civilizations. It is the easy bet to win on any case. In fact, it's hard to say who. It's really a case of who can more effectively micromanage their armies between the Chinese and Greeks when it comes to like aim armies. Ultimately, the Chinese DLC. If I could give it, if Steam had a neutral rating, I'd give it that. Good, decent civilization, great lore, terrible execution. And like, on a side note, I really am hoping they do make an Age of Mythology Definitive Edition or Age of Mythology 2 at some point. Like, it's since Age of Empires 1 through 3 have had their definitive editions, Age of Empires 4 has come out. So all we're really waiting is for Age of Mythology to be revisited. Well, this is honestly a wild thing to think about. Maybe one day. I mean, it is Age of Mythology's turn, is it not? The primary Age of Empires games have been remade. It's Age of Mythology's turn next. Of course, they're kind of from the sound, but from the sound of it, they're kind of focusing on DLC for the for 4 and 2 right now. They're adding the Ottomans and Malians in later this year. They're for Age of Empires 4, if you want to know. And they're adding them for free. They're free DLC. These civilizations at that. Which I can understand why. Age of Mythology 4 is Still less popular than its predecessor, Age of Mythology 4. Age of Empires 4 is still less popular than its predecessor, Age of Empires 2. It's not to say it's a bad game. It's an excellent game for what it is. It's just Age of Empires 2 just has that prestige to it, if I had to describe it. It's an old game, but it's one of the most solidly made games for the RTS genre. Not quite the granddaddy, but definitely not the granddaddy of RTS, but definitely fathered the sort of how RTS is like Age of Empires and Age of Mythology are run. Age of Empires 2 really established. Alright, this is going to be a bit of odd topic, but there's like two types of RTS styles. There's the 2-resource style and the 4-resource style. The fourth resource usually being some special resource for either defensive buildings or special powers or shipments and the like. For example, Age of Empires series has always gone for food, wood, gold, and stone, or food, wood, gold, and stone. Food and wood being primarily food for building units, wood for building buildings and ranged units, gold for basically research, unit production, a catch-all resource for many things. And stone was always special. Stone or the equivalent stone or favor or experience in Age of Empires 3. It's always been special. It's always that special resource. But the thing is, those games tend to be comparatively slower compared to games with 2 resources like StarCraft that have gas, Vespian gas, and minerals. Though StarCraft is a very aggressive game, and where you're attacking minutes in, like 2-3 minutes in, sort of aggressive. It's almost hilarious. This is how fast StarCraft goes. Like, in general, RTSs are really defined and by what they do. Yeah, Age of Empires 2 does have that oomph, and it really uses that oomph exceptionally well. It takes what momentum it has from being old, prestigious, and well designed, and rolls with it so effectively. And what ties it all together better than any that makes it such a enticing RTS game is you're playing through medieval history, and you're playing through it like you're the one in charge. You're the one influencing history. You learn as you play. It is almost an excuse for parents to say, "Oh, sure, this is a little violent, but at least my kids are learning something from this." It is a game that, in spite of its T rating, is given to people who are definitely not teens a lot more often. It is a solid game. It is a great game, and ultimately, it's a game that defined my childhood. The funny thing that I used to do was strictly make 2 villagers for each resource. And under that ideology, I never beat the third level of the Joan of Arc campaign. And as a little kid, because I would never make anything other than 2 villagers for each resource. And so I just spent all my time replaying William Wallace again and again. But we all have those classic habits from our early days in playing video games. Like, oh, these are the best strategies. We have to do this because in Age of Empires, this is how you get the largest army. Have as few villagers as possible. Well, so you have maximum population space for an army. Not necessarily a bad strategy, but it's only good to execute once you have those resources banked up. Otherwise, you should be producing villagers as often as you possibly can until you hit about half your population cap. Or more if you want to overboom. Ugh. I just laugh at that. The fact that I am such a weak thing. Honestly. In this. Because we all have the. I'm curious. What was your sort of. Oh, this is the best strategy, when it really was not the best strategy? Have you ever had moments like that? Or because I know it's not just me. It's because we all have those ideas. It is. We've all had those strategies where we're like, oh, we gotta do it this way, or else it makes no sense. It's wild, really. Ultimately, though, it's a case of we all made those strategic mistakes, but we all enjoyed our time doing those mistakes nonetheless. Either way, next time we will dive into a new game, hopefully. I'm thinking something in a similar vein, but not RTS to what we're... Apotheon, perhaps. Yes, that sounds like a plan. Join me Wednesday for some Apotheon. Take care now. Well, and let us... Well, maybe... Take care now, and shine like you're always meant to, my dearest members of the Grove. Of those relics were mine, and mine alone. I'm glad I was able to steal them for my own desires. Anyway, but yes. Take care, everyone. And remember, and absolutely shine like you were always meant to. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now, and I wish you a shining bright rest of your day. Toodaloo.